All righty, we are live. It is 4:06. I have to say, I apologize for keeping you waiting. This is the third series, I do believe, third series of the Coaching Corner with Jason E. Brooks. And today we are going to go through building a customer centric culture in catering and coaching your team up for exceptional service. We do a solid job of making sure we are pushing all of the information out to our teams in the kitchen, in the restaurant, who's taking what orders, are all of the different tidbits, the pieces, the side items, the plateware, the smallware, the tongs, the emergency kits that we keep within our vehicles, and getting there on time, hot is hot, cold is cold, setting up all that good stuff. Where is everything going? Getting the contract signed if you're still doing that thing. But there's sometimes that customer connection of exceptional service. There's sometimes we don't hit 100% of that. So I love presentations. I love putting together a deck because that visual just helps things land just a bit more. Plus, since this is recorded, you're able to look back through those presentations and get the visual with your eyes from the words to help spark some different things that we could be working on. So we are going to kick right into it. Let me go ahead and share screen and we will get started here. So with building a or coaching coaching your team for exceptional service, we're going to explore how to coach your catering team to provide exceptional customer service and create a customer first mindset that drives success and repeat business. Because catering, of course, it isn't just about food. It's about the entire guest experience. By instilling a customer-centric culture, your team will become empowered to exceed client expectations, to anticipate needs, and create memorable experiences. Now, in catering, the experience you provide for your guest can make or break your business. Most of us know this. It's not enough to just provide food. You have to offer exceptional service and make sure clients feel valued every step of the way. Today, we'll look at how you can instill that customer centric culture in your catering team and empower your team to create memorable experiences. A customer centric mindset. What is that about? What does a customer centric mindset look like in catering? It's all about understanding that everything we do impacts the client, even from how we dress to how we speak to how late or early that we arrive, even the questions that we may ask that may have been covered during that discovery call or during the notes taken for that catering. Everything we do helps to set the tone of how we impact that client from the initial inquiry to the final goodbye and everything that's in between. Every interaction counts. Coaching your team to focus on customer satisfaction and the personal touches that elevate the experience can create lasting memories for your clients. Now, I love to say that we love to train standard processes, SOPs, standard operating procedures. There's a step-by-step guide to almost everything that we do, and we should train it to the T. But the thing is, though, when we add those personal touches, yes, we bring you on, or we bring on our teams to train them our way of doing things. It is our culture of how we do things. But your personal touch of how you speak with the client, how you compliment them, how you talk them through what's going on and what that next step is, helps to elevate that entire experience. So be sure not to let standard operating procedures don't have that take the place of a personal touch. We want you to do everything perfectly, and you want your team to do everything perfectly, but you also want them to add their own sprinkles and whipped cream and chocolate all on top for their own personal touch and how they truly bring that customer centric culture up front. Up next is why customer centricity matters in catering. And yes, that's a actual word. Exceptional customer service in catering is about anticipating client needs even before they ask, just like waiting tables. The most the the most exceptional servers that I've ever met, one first write down the order. They write down every single order, just like our catering call center writes down every single note. And the most exceptional people that help to deliver your orders help to anticipate the client needs even before they even ask. Similar to when I take my family out to eat, and even before I ask for more water or a new fork or anything else, it's as if they're reading the table and reading my mind, but anticipating that client needs even before they ask. That is one of the key things to help really nail that customer centric culture, whether it's ensuring a dietary restriction is met or ensuring extra napkins are available. These small gestures make a huge impact. By coaching your team to actively listen and ask the right questions, you're training them to provide a personalized experience that will leave a lasting impression. One of the biggest challenges that we face is that we tend to really key in on telling people what to do. As catering directors, we definitely try our best to let our team be nimble, but that telling them what to do, that autocratic style, can tend to backfire. When we use a persuasive style of coaching and training our catering teams in the field, what we're doing is that we're asking them a series of questions so that if plan A, B, C, 4, 5, or 6 doesn't work, they know what their next option is. So using that persuasive style, especially with our teams that are in the field making these caterings happen on site, help for them to plan what the next step is and anticipate what those things could be with small gestures that make big impact. Up next is handling difficult clients with grace. When it comes down to handling difficult clients with grace, catering events always come with their challenges, whether it's late arrivals, last minute changes, or picky clients. Those picky clients that we all love. The key to keeping things on track is staying calm under pressure, coaching your team to manage difficult situations with grace and professionalism that can turn a complaint into a positive customer experience. I think that we all teach our teams, coach our teams, that it's very rare to have smooth sailing. There's always going to be times that we have to pivot. But the question is, how are we coaching our teams to help deal with those difficult clients or situations? First thing is, as noted, staying calm. Staying calm and listening first. When we listen first, we can hear what the end result, what the end goal that the client needs. They do need time first to air out whatever is on their chest about what's going on that they feel isn't right. But when we can listen first and truly hear what the end result needs to be, that's when our teams can handle those difficult clients with grace and turn that negative situation into a positive outcome. And when it comes down to empathy, empathy isn't just a buzzword. I know we tend to hear empathy a lot these days, and it's crucial for delivering a customer first experience. Understanding how they feel within that moment. Teaching your team to empathize with clients' emotions can make a huge difference. It's a challenge though. We tend to take our own thoughts, our own emotions and put them first. One of the things that we talked about during one of the previous coaching corners was making sure that we are giving a lot of communication, speaking a lot about what's going on, what to expect with our teams in different ways to stay communicated with them. So we have to make sure that whenever we have our teams out in the field, that they truly understand that they have to put themselves second with their emotion, that we want to look good. Most of our teams truly do this because they want you, as the catering director, as the catering manager, to look well in how you do and what you do. And they don't want to let us down. So at times, they're quick to defend what any mistake was, something that was left behind, maybe a misconstrued note about what was supposed to be brought. But when they empathize also with the client that's there at the event and take that into mind first, and we remind them to make sure that we use that emotional intelligence to create those relationships, that's when we get that win-win. By incorporating intelligence into your catering operations, you can build stronger relationships and create more loyal clients. Now, let's discuss some customer centric strategies. So, a question that I want you to think about: what are some ways you ensure your team is going the extra mile for your clients? Do you have any tactics or practices that consistently elevate your events? Yes, there is absolutely making sure that 100% of everything that the client asked for, our teams have for them. But do you have any special sparkle, flair that you have of any tactics or practices that consistently elevate your events? I would love to hear from you. So, anyone that can drop a line in, drop a note in, are there any kind of special things that you do for your events in order to wow your catering clients? Put it in the chat and let me know. I'll get back to the chat when I have a moment. For example, here's a few examples. Asking the client questions about their personal preferences or even celebrating small wins like a thank you note after an event can create lasting impressions. Those personal preferences that we may not have a checkbox for or a box to fill out for, but we understand, not that picky client, but the personal preferences client and what we can do to help make sure that we always get those things right. That's not always on a checklist, because it's not always about doing big things, but making clients feel heard and valued. So it's not us having huge projects or huge gifts, but when we make those catering clients feel heard and valued, that goes a long way. In the chat, I see a small treat like cookies or snack mix in branded packaging with a "thanks for choosing us" tag. Absolutely. Something that isn't even a part of the standard operating procedure for average caterings, but just doing something small like that goes a long way with personal preference clients. Another one, a follow up note is a fantastic way for connecting with a client. You are absolutely right. Yes, we send them a invoice at the very end. An invoice isn't a thank you note, even if the invoice says thank you. That personal note helps go a long way to let those clients know that we hear them and we value them. Another way, call your client following the event to say thanks and get feedback. Absolutely, there should be a time frame for every single catering order. Some SOPs say 4 hours after it's finished. Some say next day. Some say within 24 hours. Whatever that the process is, the first thing is saying thank you and making sure that we are checking up to follow up on them. Don't make it sound like it's a robot check or that you just want, I just need you to give me fives, like this is a survey in a dining room. Asking what went right, how we can duplicate that, and what we can do for them for their events that make the client stand out in front of their clients as well is a great way to put that customer centric strategy in front. Building a customer first mindset doesn't just mean meeting expectations. It's about anticipating needs and delivering unexpected touches that truly create memorable experience. Even when I go out to eat, and I see we have one more note that's in the chat as well. Even whenever I go out to eat, and I get asked, "Did we meet your expectations?" If you really think about that question, there is only two levels. One level is you fell below my expectation. Something went wrong multiple times. Not just a mistake happened, but multiple things happened within that dinner, within that experience that was far below my expectations of what I thought. The other thing is above. It went above my expectations. If you really think about everything you've ever purchased, everything you've ever been through, went out to eat, online shopping, at the mall shopping. I know that's old school, but at the mall shopping, how many times was it that they exactly met your expectations? Half the time it's going to be, not half the time, nearly all the time it's going to be zero. It's either below the expectations or above. Whenever we start anticipating needs and delivering on unexpected touches, that's when we can consistently, and our teams in the field, when they can consistently exceed expectations. Now, some more tips and tricks to customer centric strategies, as in the chat. A call from the CEO is a really special way of connecting with the brand. Absolutely. If the CEO calls one of those personal preference clients, that's huge. You, as the catering director, catering manager, you are a big deal too. But when we can get the CEO president to, at times, to reach out to these personal preference clients, that is a really special touch. And how about whenever you get that note yourself? Have you ever gotten a note from a brand president reaching out to you, thanking you for your business? How special did you feel? A last piece, providing boxes and bags for guests to take leftovers. That is a great thing. That is a wonderful thing. It may not be a standard procedure, but how many times do we feel that our clients over order on food because the last thing that they want to do is not have enough food for the event? So they typically do over order. It's very rare they get just enough. But then whenever there's food left over and they want people to take food home, there's no boxes, there's no bags. Foreseeing that as a possibility and bringing that for them makes it so much easier for your client to look great for their client as well. Let's get back to the deck. So, last one is Q&A. Of course, with the Q&A, any questions that have come, we've actually answered not really questions, but tips. So here are a few questions starting to come in now. And now remember, this is your turn. What strategies have worked well for your team, and also to discuss some of your challenges. And I'm going to help provide some feedback and ideas for improvement. First question, how can coaching shift internal focus from just fulfilling orders to building relationships? I have to be honest. The very, very first part of that is the fact that what you do when you're coaching your team is you're helping to build a relationship with the person that works for you. You are providing that space in order to get to know them personally. That is paying it forward. If we only have the time to just communicate what the goals are, what the next order is, what the next challenge is, all of the stuff that is standard business, but we don't make the time to get to know the individuals on our catering team and coach them, find out how is their day first, find out about them personally, then find out about their business challenges or business wins. It's not always challenges. And then to provide feedback and to give that structured, make it structured. When we do that for our teams that are in the field or in the office, it sparks this thing within their mind of them also doing that for the customer. And that's paying it forward. We cannot and should not expect that if we simply ask them to make small personal touches with the clients, that they will, if we as catering directors don't do that for our own teams. So that's one of the very first things that we have to do to build that relationship and not just fulfill orders. Next question. What are some coaching techniques that help frontline teams better anticipate customer needs? What are some coaching techniques that help frontline teams better anticipate customer needs? Some coaching techniques is always doing a wrap up at the end of every single catering order, because we can tend to forget very quickly what the details were of what went right and what went wrong. We aren't reaching out, calling out, emailing, texting in order to hear things that only went wrong. We also want to hear what went right, and we want to ask open-ended questions. If we ask questions that only prompt yes or no answers, that doesn't build anticipation. When we're asking who, what, where, when, why, or how type questions and making sure that there are different things for them and leave it open at the end, not just one or two choices. That's when we're getting our team to more think through what they experienced in order to take it to the next catering event. And then of course at the very end asking, so what is the biggest takeaway? Or what are your top three takeaways? There may be times that we talk through the details of what's going on, and there can either be one detail or there can be 20 to 30 different details that happen from that catering event. But when we ask them, what are the top three takeaways? We can then ensure that we're all on the same page about what was the most important. And we're helping them to remember how they can then prepare for the next event. That is the only two. Oh, no, we got another question just popped up. How do you train your team to pick on unstated or emotional cues from customers? Oh, body language. Body language says it all. But the question, though, is how do you train your team to pick up on those unstated or emotional cues? Um, Definitely, you need to make that front and center. It's not something that just comes with time. Making that a part of your onboarding, training, quarterly retraining, those body cues says it all. There's a lot of times that our clients at the event don't have time to speak through everything that isn't going well, and they will just say, yes, it's going fine, so that they can get to their own next fire. But yes, we should be training our teams to pick up on body language while doing events, so we can again help to anticipate those needs. Hopefully that answered that question. What traits do you look for when hiring or coaching for customer forward catering roles? Definitely asking questions about about past things that they've done. With tell me about a time that you've had a very difficult customer. If you had your own catering business, how would you run it? What do you do on your free time? If someone tells you that on their free time that they volunteer at a homeless shelter, that they volunteer at a hospital, that they help take care of their neighbors, if they're starting to show the cues that they're doing things outside of themselves in order to help others, that's a pretty big green flag that you have someone with the right customer forward thinking in how they do what they do. Having a ton of catering experience is good. Having people experience is amazing, because it's tough within our roles to really train that people forward facing process, them coming to the table and you asking questions during that interview process helps them bring that forward. We have time for two more questions. How can you coach operational staff, drivers, kitchen, admin to see their parts in customer experience? How can you coach operational staff, drivers, kitchen, admin to see their parts in customer experience? After every single event, we should be putting together some kind of one sheeter or email about how things went, and it goes out to that entire team. Half the time that they don't see the customer experience side is because we cut them off after they complete the order. There is no follow up, there's no update, or the only follow up and the only update is if something goes wrong. It's similar to just giving feedback. If you only give feedback to your catering team or to the operational team, whenever something goes wrong, every time they see you, that's the only thing that they're thinking. But whenever we make it customary to give them full picture feedback, not unwarranted details, that's not needed, but full feedback of everything that went well, that they can see those bullet points directly after the event of everyone that was involved. That one sheeter, that snapshot helps them to understand what their bigger piece within that whole picture. If you start doing that consistently, you will find that they actually ask you, hey, how did I do? What did happen? Because last 6 times you told me, but this most recent time, you didn't say anything. They actually will want to know how the customer experience was. Last question. Is empathy something that can be coached, or is it something you look for in the hiring process? Empathy, yes, can be coached. The real question is, do you have time to coach empathy? That's the true question. If you have time to coach empathy as well as everything else that you have that is going on, then you can make that a part of your training process. But I do believe that most of us on our schedule, that is one of the areas that it's very hard for us to put together a training module on empathy. So, absolutely, you should be looking for that within the hiring process if they fully understand how to pick up cues on other people. And you can pick that up during the interview process. Let's do a quick recap of everything that we just talked about. So, some key takeaways: focus on customer satisfaction from start to finish. Customer service isn't just about meeting expectations, it's about exceeding them, because rarely do we ever just meet them. It's either below expectations or it was over. And we know we want our teams to always exceed those expectations. By coaching your team with these principles, you'll create a culture of service that fosters loyalty, satisfaction, and growth. But it all starts with empowering your team to anticipate those needs and going that extra mile, having them understand and look for those cues of what's going well and what's not, and then being prepared and having that wrap up at the end of every single catering so they can understand what are the key takeaways. Of course, we talked about leading with the empathy and the emotional intelligence. It's very true. Food is the very first emotional connection every human being on this planet has. Think about it. Whenever you were born and they took you and placed you on your mother, you were placed on someone that knew you were good and that loved you. And after a while went by, your very first discomfort came. And that very first discomfort was hunger. And the person that loved you cured that discomfort with food, and they fed you. And every time you had that discomfort, they cured it and fed you. The very first emotional connection every human being has on this planet is connected to food. And now we share that every single day with friends, family, our co-workers, all day long. So even when we think that, why are they explosive? Why are they blowing up on me? That emotional intelligence is real, and we need that empathy to make that connection. Handling difficult situations with professionalism and grace should be par for the course. But it all starts with taking yourself out of it first as the person that is at the event, and thinking about what the end expectation needs to be in order to make that correction. But building a customer centric team that grows your business helps to grow through positive client relationships, and it all starts with you. So we definitely can't ask our teams to be forward thinking with professionalism, with grace, with empathy, with helping to understand and get to know what the clients need even before they need it, if we don't do that very first thing ourselves. Now, that's going to wrap up my session for the Coaching Corner with Jason Brooks. Of course, I'm your hospitality coach. I'm your author, your consultant with over 30 years of experience in the industry, helping professionals just like you build better teams to help buy back time so you can get things done. You can always find me at the Coaching Corner and also on CaterLinked and at the Off Premises Growth Academy. Make sure you get your other catering friends and coworkers to sign on to CaterLinked, get well connected, and help build this community to help really grow catering sales, more dollars, and more fun for you, because this is what we love to do. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next month on the Coaching Corner.